Hello everyone, my name is Gibrán Güido. I am 29 years old. I'm from San Diego. I'm currently a doctoral student at UCSD in the Department of Literature and Cultural Studies, and I identify as queer Chicano. I remember that part of my experience bridging my academic and my activist work, or my academic and my community work, was finding figures in the literature that were gone and would pass from HIV/AIDS. So I remember feeling and sensing that if they were here, how much they could have provided as a foundation, how much knowledge and wisdom they could have given to me, how much consejos and advice I could have emailed them or called them and asked them, like, okay, what is it like for you to go through this, or how do I handle this break, or how do I handle my family not accepting? But they were gone. There are particular figures like Gil Cuadros, for example. He's a writer, and an activist. He passed from HIV/AIDS, I believe, at the age of 33, but he was diagnosed at 25. So, and other folks as well, but I think particularly with his narrative was that I felt so connected with him because he was so young and he was doing work that was very much life-saving, and at the same time he was no longer here. So I feel like part of that work, being an HIV/AIDS test counselor and trying to be an academic, or shaping myself to be an academic, was trying to bridge, right? What is it like to have contracted HIV and or talk about it and or bring it to academia? So when I first was accepted into the Department of Chicana and Chicano Studies at San Diego State, I was approached by the director, Ana Castillo, at the time, and she had approached me with possibly working on a project together where we could collect narratives, stories by queer Chicanos and put it together in an anthology. So as soon as she had mentioned that, I was like, okay, like I wanted to jump on it because I wanted something like that for myself when I was coming out. I never had. All the narratives I would find for gay Latinos were that they were gone, they passed from HIV/AIDS, they were beaten and brutalized, they were cast out by their families. So I wanted some, or they weren't even like Mexicanos, they were Latinos, and so I wanted that as a representation. So when she approached me to do it, I jumped on the project, and I could say that working on that anthology has saved me many times in my own personal. Part of my experience in coming out in academia was I was told that you don't exist, that there isn't ever a representation of you, that you're wasting your time. And so finding this own history really contextualized who I was and what I wanted to do. And once I was given a history, I began to reconfigure myself. I began to reevaluate who I am in relation to a history and a culture where there has always been someone or something like me. And now, it's in print, and now we're hoping that it'll help others, not just this anthology and the stories, but that they can use all these other different titles to potentially find resources for themselves. With Honor 41, it was interesting because when I had first come across it online, it was I was just working on the towards the end, a process of the project, and finding that the famous 41. And I thought, wow, like what a coincidence, right? That sort of we're using specific moments in history to redefine ourselves and redefine who we are in relation to it, and to re-empower ourselves, right? To not feel shame, not feel regret, not feel that we're not accepted or that we can't be accepted, but instead challenge our own familias, challenge our own cultura, challenge our friends to learn to love us again, right? To learn to love us as who we are, not who they expect us or want us to be.